The gaming world has been buzzing about a spiritual successor to Counter-Strike, that being Valorant, guys. A game, first-person shooter that is going to be coming out here in the very foreseeable future by none other than Riot Games. The ones, of course, who made League of Legends, and these guys are taking an extremely aggressive approach to really take over gaming as a whole. They are not only jumping into the first-person shooter genre, but a number of other genres that spread across gaming, that being like the card games, like as in the form of Legends of Runeterra, going up against Hearthstone and games like that, and a number of other games that are coming out, kind of really within the League of Legends IP. And within that world, well, of course, Valorant, guys, is the really big one that everybody's talking about and the buzz is going around. So we're going to talk about everything that we know so far about this game. So let's talk about it. Valorant, guys, release date, closed beta, gameplay, and everything that we know by Steven Mesner of PC Gamer. Valorant is taking on Counter-Strike Global Offensive, first announced as Project A during Riot's 10-year anniversary stream. The 5v5 FPS blends the character abilities of Overwatch with 5-on-5 gunplay that rewards quick reflexes and precision, and Riot says it's put a huge amount of work into ensuring lag and wonky hit detection don't get in the way. So, look, really quick, guys. Obviously, we've been able to see quite a bit of footage so far of Valorant, and really this does feel very much so like a spiritual successor to Counter-Strike, but it's got kind of, you see glimpses of other games, glimpses of Call of Duty, glimpses of Overwatch, and this game feels, to me at least, like a combination of multiple games, even though it really does feel like that direct spiritual successor to CSGO, and they are, like I said, taking an aggressive approach to take over the first-person shooter genre as we know it. Those bold technical promises are the primary way Riot intends to differentiate Valorant from its direct competition, which includes Overwatch, CSGO, and Rainbow Six Siege. Even if it does have the best netcode, though, that won't mean anything if Valorant's mix of quick time to kill combat and character abilities doesn't feel distinct enough. So, how to get into the Valorant closed beta? Obviously, guys, this has been something that, people had been wondering, and people, for a while, were really trying to get beta codes, and it was something that, people were like selling beta codes, and it was like, it was a wild ordeal when this was going on. But, they, of course, say don't buy a closed beta account or you could be banned by Riot. So that's something that you definitely want to know, guys, about all of that. Now, as far as the release date is concerned, Riot hasn't officially confirmed a release date for Valorant, but it's planning to release it in the summer of 2020. The exact release date will depend on feedback received during Valorant's beta. So here's the thing, guys. We're probably, like I said, most likely we're going to be seeing this in the summer, which is huge. But you want to know something? This is, after this game got announced, I was talking to a number of people, and the craziest things revolving around Valorant was this game, they basically were stating that they were coming for everyone in the first-person shooter genre as well as pretty much every other genre in gaming. Like, they are... Riot Games, who's only been known for League of Legends up to this point, is really taking an approach here, guys. Now, that release date, it's going to be, coming closer and closer every single day whenever the date is decided by Riot. And Valve needs to know that this game's coming. And, it was getting massive numbers on Twitch. Valorant sets a viewer record with 1.7 million on Twitch. Valorant will have a battle pass and sell cosmetics, but it won't have loot boxes. And then they say Riot is on a crusade to eradicate Peeker's advantage in Valorant. So, guys, there's so much footage. I had watched so much footage of Valorant. A lot of the big streamers were, of course, streaming it for a long period of time. And I gotta say, overall, guys, from what I got from this, from watching it, it seems like it's going to be an easy game to play, but a very hard game to master, similar to games like CSGO in the same genre. Now, A lot of people don't like the graphics. I think the graphics are they're unique. I really like the way it looks. It's very bright, very colorful. Reminds me of like Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3 in the Call of Duty series. But I really think, guys, that this game has a real shot at dethroning some of these other big players in the first-person shooter genre. Now, CSGO, saying that's going to dethrone CSGO, maybe it'll dethrone it as the biggest FPS, but I don't think it's going to kill off CSGO by any stretch. Now, games like Overwatch very well might get killed off completely from that, but that's a conversation for a different day, guys. So as we said, Valorant is a tactical 5v5 character-based shooter set in a near-future version of Earth. There will be around 10 characters at launch, with more coming. All the characters have a set of 4 unique abilities, 2 of which you have to buy with money earned between rounds. At the same time, you buy weapons and armor. So essentially, guys, it's basically like an economy within CSGO. I mean, guys, look, they basically took everything that worked in CSGO and they're trying to amp it up with obviously having, character abilities and such, which is similar to Overwatch. But I think what Riot Games is thinking is they're probably thinking to themselves, look, we own League of Legends, and all these different characters have different abilities, obviously. So they kind of know that space of different characters having different abilities, releasing different characters with different abilities. And so they probably feel pretty confident in establishing something there within the first-person shooter genre, and that's exactly what they're doing here. I mean, they're taking, obviously, a similar system to what CSGO has, and they're trying to amp it up, though, with different player abilities. Each person's going to have a different role, which you do in CSGO, but it's going to be amplified because it's all going to come down to the character abilities. Once you've chosen your character, you're locked into them for the entirety of a match, which consists of up to 24 rounds with sudden death in the event of a tie. Currently, there is only one main mode, bomb defusal. Just like in Counter-Strike, one team must plant a bomb at a bomb site while the other team defends, basically like a search and destroy kind of style. Though the abilities seem inspired by Overwatch, Valorant has some key distinctions that make it a lot more like Counter-Strike. For one, each character's ultimate ability has an extremely long cooldown that can last multiple rounds, so you won't be constantly firing wall-piercing arrows, laying trip mines, or triggering poise cloud ambushes. And I think that's a really good thing, guys. Obviously, Riot is very good overall at balancing their game, and I mean, because they've only really had League of Legends, so they've only had one game at this point to balance, but at the same time, they're very good at it. I think that, in my opinion, they're going to do a really good job with this. They're going to deal with this with extreme care, in my personal opinion. Now, characters also aren't bound to using one type of gun. At the beginning of each round, you can purchase a variety of different weapons in addition to some secondary abilities that have a limited number of charges. But Valorant's combat emphasizes skilled gunplay more than high-powered abilities. Now, who are the Valorant characters, guys? So, though the roster will likely expand in the future, Riot said it's aiming to have at least 10 characters ready for Valorant's launch. Though we haven't seen or played all 10, here's a quick overview. So you got Sova, Phoenix, Cypher, Jett, Viper, Brimstone, Sage, Omen, Breach, and Raze. All pretty cool names. I like all those names. Each one, guys, obviously has, distinct abilities. And here's the thing is that they're really, I believe, guys, they're going to be going really long-term with this game. You can just kind of tell that with League of Legends, they don't plan on making a League of Legends 2. At least that's what Riot Games has said. So Valorant, I would expect this being a long, drawn-out game for years upon years to come. League of Legends, guys, is the biggest game in the world, essentially. I mean, you could argue Fortnite and such, but for how long of a period of time League of Legends has basically been at the top, they've done an incredible job there. Think of that, but think of it in an FPS. That's Valorant for you, and there's a real possibility of that happening. But there's also a possibility that this could absolutely crash and burn, which some people are pointing out. Now, each one of these, like I said, Sova, she fires magic arrows. Phoenix can curve flashbangs around corners. Cypher, he's a defensive powerhouse who can lay trip mines. Jett can leap in the air and throw knives for quick surprise kills. Personal favorite of mine. Viper can unleash poison clouds that blind enemies. Brimstone calls in orbital bombardments. Sage is Valorant's resident medic. He can heal or revive allies. Omen, or shifty rogue who can get behind enemy lines. Breach is a seismic force that disorients enemies and ignores the boundaries of the walls. And then you got Raze, an explosive expert that can root out enemies with cluster grenades. So each one has very interesting, unique abilities, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the balancing act is, because I think with CSGO, it's kind of more cut and dry. Everyone's got, as far as the health is concerned and all of that, it's generally speaking relatively the same, but there's obviously there's so much more balancing in a game like this because you got special abilities with each of the characters. Makes it very interesting, makes it really tricky, but if it works, it can work, it can be incredible for this game and just for the following, the fan base, as well as just as from a viewership perspective, because I would have to think Valorant is going to try, guys, to certainly go into an esports direction. I don't think there's any debate about that. Now, as far as the weapons are concerned, guys, like Counter-Strike, weapons in Valorant are purchased at the beginning of each round, meaning no character is stuck using one type of weapon. After messing with Valorant's arsenal for a few hours, it's clear that most of its weapons have a direct Counter-Strike analog. If you're familiar with AWPs and AKs, you should be right at home. So you got sidearms, SMGs, shotguns, rifles, sniper rifles, heavies, and melee. So at this point, guys, there's a number of different weapons. I love this sniper rifles. I love them in basically every, FPS game, whether we're talking Counter-Strike or we're talking Call of Duty. I just have always loved sniper rifles in these games. So the Marshal and Operator are kind of the two that I really, kind of like drawn to. But there's certainly, pick your poison, essentially, at this point, guys. Now, very important. Microtransactions. This is something that obviously people are very, concerned about how it's going to work. Riot hasn't gone into detail about how Valorant's free-to-play progression in microtransactions will work, but it has given us some basic information. Each character will be unlockable through regular play, which suggests that players won't immediately have access to the full roster, similar to a lot of free-to-play shooters like Apex Legends. Microtransactions will be available, but players don't have to worry about them being used to gain any kind of competitive advantage. Though the full scope of purchasable items isn't confirmed, players can expect to customize their character through player cards, sprays, logos, or symbols that can be sprayed onto the environment, and a gun buddy, which is a cute little cosmetic that hangs from your gun. So, guys, I've said it on a number of occasions on my YouTube channel that microtransactions never really bothered me that much because I never really got into buying a lot of microtransactions. I mean, sometimes with DLC, buying like downloadable content, that being like extra map packs and Call of Duty, got into that. But when it came to like cosmetic items, I just really never got into it. I always like earning my skins on my weapons or on my characters and such. What I will say about them is this. For those of you who like really just don't like microtransactions, at the end of the day, what it comes down to me is that microtransactions, as long as that they are not deceptive to the consumer and that there's not a pay to win kind of mentality or a competitive advantage, I think that they're fine, right? Especially a game that's going to be free to play. You have all the opportunities in the world to, just play this game for free forever, at least, we think. And, putting microtransactions in there is going to help this game continue to basically run, right? To keep the servers going and such, and help Riot continue to, churn out profits to continue expanding upon the game. So I totally get it, especially from a free-to-play perspective, guys. I'm all right with it as long as it doesn't have any type of, malpractices or any kind of ways in which that they are deceptive to us as consumers. With the microtransactions, I'm okay. I'm okay with microtransactions overall, especially in a free-to-play game. But let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Now, this is a big thing as well, the anti-cheat system. So Riot has indicated that it's investing a lot of time and energy into solving some of the biggest problems facing multiplayer shooters, cheating and lag. On the cheating front, Riot has developed a new kernel-level anti-cheat system that it says should make most forms of hacking impossible, making Valorant extra secure against aim hacks. What's interesting, though, is that the development team also designed every feature with possible exploits in mind. One example given in our hands-on preview is that the crosshair doesn't change colors when it passes over an enemy, because dishonest players could easily write a script that checks those pixels and automatically fires a shot when they change colors. So it looks like they're really on top of this, guys. I mean, all in all, It seems absolutely like Riot is on top of the cheating and such, and they are like they're not going to have it. I'm sure you're going to get banned and things of that nature when they catch you with that, and it will be very swift, I would assume. Now, back in 2014, Riot started partnering with different ISPs around the world to physically add routers into their data centers that would ensure League of Legends players had a more consistent lower ping across the US and Europe. Valorant will use that same infrastructure, and with Riot Direct, Riot predicts that 70% of players will access regional Valorant servers with a ping lower than 35 milliseconds. Pretty impressive. So, overall, guys, this is all very exciting, in my personal opinion. It sounds so good. Like, I just hope it's not, like, too good to be true kind of thing. All in all, what I've seen so far, I love what I see of this game. This game is just so unique, guys, for a first-person shooter. It feels like Overwatch, right? It feels like CSGO. It feels a little bit like Call of Duty, like Rainbow Six. But it's got its own thing, and that's what I really like about this game. And Riot is just kind of carefully, being very particular with it. They didn't want to do a direct rip-off of a game like CSGO, even though there's very similarities to it. They're saying that's a spiritual successor to that. It's not a direct rip from Overwatch, but it's got things in there that feel like it, similar to Call of Duty and Rainbow Six. So I'm very excited, guys, for this game, all in all. Everything that we know so far, we know quite, we're starting to know more and more, especially after we got hands-on with this game. The question lies, though, in when the game fully releases, is this going to be really the next big thing? Is this going to be like League of Legends, but a first-person shooter? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. Is this technically the CS killer, or is it the Overwatch killer? What is this game? Or is it just going to coexist with other first-person shooters in the space? It'll be very interesting to see as time goes, guys. And we're not going to find out right away, right? It's going to get massive viewership at first. It's about the consistency over time. Are we going to see that similar to what we've seen in League of Legends over the years? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And for more Valorant content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.